Alright, today we're back with another video and we're gonna talk about none other than Lady Katsuyu. She's my favorite summon out of all the summons in the Naruto verse. She's also linked to Tsunade, that's why I like her, so yeah. But today we're just gonna touch on about some facts about Katsuyu that you may not have known. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. Okay, so fact number one about Katsuyu, she's actually just one gigantic slug that resides in the Shikatsu Forest, also known as the Damp Bone Forest, which is just as legendary as Mount Miyaboku for the toads and the Ryuchu Caves for the snakes. So these are the three great summons of all the summons in the Narutoverse, and they all have their respective realms, which you can't really get to on foot by normal means. It's basically another dimension for them specifically. The next facts about Katsuyu is that she's completely immune to any sort of physical attack, regardless of how strong it is. So just think of her as like an extremely large pillow, jello, marshmallow. She just absorbs attack. She's just a really big cushion. You know, she just absorbs damage and she doesn't take damage. She's also immune to stabs, slashes, anything sharp, anything that pierces her, so like swords, tridents, kunais, anything like that, any water cutting techniques, lightning cutting techniques, wind cutting techniques. She's just completely immune to all of that. So this is just due to her genetic makeup. I don't know what exactly makes up Katsuyu, but she just looks like Jello basically. Her genetic makeup is somewhat like Jello, but a lot more durable and resistant. Fact number 3, Katsuyu has shown elemental resistance to all the elements including fire, heat, light/dark, water, wind, earth, lightning, electricity. She survived for example, she survived Naruto's burn-in/corrosive chakra back in the Pain arc when he was transforming into the Nine Tails. She was in his clothes, but he transformed and his skin turned to that red burning chakra that it burned Sakura. It literally just evaporated Orochimaru and his snakes, and Katsuyu was just completely fine, unharmed. She also was able to tank Shinra Tensei, the village wipe in Shinra Tensei in her mini form, just fine without any damage or anything like that. So she's wind resistant and all of those things. She just any kind of physical damage, she's just super resistant to it. And she also stated that in the war arc, she is totally fine at being cut at the speed of light. She doesn't have a problem with it. Just to add as well, had Tsunade summoned Katsuyu versus Madara's perfect Susanoo, she would be super effective against his Susanoo because he just couldn't damage her, right? But we all know because Madara was Edo Tensei, he had infinite stamina, infinite chakra. But Katsuyu wouldn't have any problems against Madara because she could just tank his fire style because she tanked Naruto's burning corrosive chakra, which was hotter than fire. The only thing hotter than fire style, which is Amaterasu. So, yeah. And she can tank Amaterasu too because she can just shed her skin just like the Jubi did in the war arc. So Katsuyu just OP. Another fact for you guys, so Katsuyu is actually linked directly to the 100 healings mark, or the Byakugo seal, whichever you want to call it. Since the seal existed since the era of the Sage of the Six Paths, according to the Boruto manga, when Sakura referenced Tsunade after Sarada asked her that the seal is similar to the Karma seal, yada yada. Yeah, go read that if you want to know more about it. They didn't really go into it that much, but Tsunade said it existed since Earth the Sage of Six Paths. Since his time. So this would also mean that Katsuyu was around since the beginning of the Narutoverse. So she was just always there. And then the aliens came in. Now we don't know if she was smaller, because now she's a really huge gigantic slug, because we did see back in the flashbacks the great sage of Mount Miyaboku, the one that has the crystal. He was a lot smaller and younger, when Hagoromo saw him, and his brother as well. So I guess he aged, but Katsuyu didn't age because she still looks young and she just grew bigger, basically. Fact number 5. Now, in order to summon Katsuyu, you definitely need the Byakugo seal. It is a direct requirement to summon her, as she herself stated that she's directly linked to the seal, and she scales proportionally to the condition of the seal as well. Which is why you'd see top tier medical ninjas like Shizune. Shizune has been under Tsunade's tutelage for so many years, much longer than Sakura, and she did not develop the Byakugo seal because it's not an easy feat that anyone can pull off. It's only 2, possibly 3 users of the seal throughout the Naruto verse that we have seen. So it's a really difficult jutsu to pull off. Right? She cannot summon Katsuyu. Shizune cannot summon Katsuyu at all because the seal is needed to summon Katsuyu. So you cannot summon her without the seal. You can make a contract, but you can't summon her until you get the seal because she's directly linked to the seal. You have to get the Byakugo seal to link to Katsuyu because she's directly linked to the seal. Without the seal, you can't summon her at all. Which is why Sakura was not able to summon her until she got the Byakugo seal, and that's when the only time she could summon Katsuyu. Ino as well could be used as another example. Ino was briefly Tsunade's student as well for a short time. She excelled in medical ninja. She's also a top tier medical ninja as well. Not in the leagues of Tsunade and Sakura, but she's pretty up there. She's better than the ones in the hospital. So she was not also able to summon Katsuyu because she lacks the Byakugo seal. Another great example is where we could use Kabuto. Kabuto looked up to Tsunade because of what she did to the medical field, how she revolutionized the medical industry, how she just changed how teams formation, changed how the medical field just ran. Like, she just changed everything up. Kabuto could not figure out how to get this seal, so Kabuto just went with the snakes instead because it's much easier to form a contract with the snakes and the toads because their requirements to summon them isn't as drastic as Katsuyu's, which is why it takes the Byakugo seal is actually Sage Jutsu, but it doesn't function as the typical Sage Jutsu. I'm going to make another video explaining that, so stay tuned for that. Another great fact about Katsuyu as well that I have noticed is that her summoning doesn't seem to have a time limit. Have you guys realized that when Tsunade summoned her back in the Pain arc, despite Tsunade transferring all of her chakra to Katsuyu, Katsuyu stood around until the very end of the Pain arc when she was no longer needed, right? Now, it seems that the summoner can keep Katsuyu as long as they need her to be, because another example was when, let me see. Yeah, in the War arc as well, when the new Sannin debuted, Naruto, Sasuke, Sakura, when they did their summonings, Gamabunta and Oda disappeared while Katsuyu was still there. She was still around in the battlefield, divided into how many thousands of different smaller slugs, healing everyone. She was still there throughout the entire time until Tsunade rejoined and they resummoned her to an even larger portion. So it's it doesn't seem like she have a time limit, is what I'm saying. Another great fact about Katsuyu, some of you guys may already know this one, but whenever Katsuyu is summoned, it's only just a small segment of Katsuyu that is summoned. The largest size we've ever seen is just 10% of her, and that was a combined effort of 2 Byakugo Seal adepts, along with Sakura being amped by Kyuubi Chakra Naruto, because he did share her chakra with Sakura. So that was when both Tsunade and Sakura combined and summoned Katsuyu together, and she filled the gap between the roots of the god tree by liquefying herself. She was basically towering over like the mountain ranges. She was towering over pretty much everything on the battlefield. She was so large. Like she made like Naruto and Sasuke's Susanoo, Kurama mode and Susanoo's look like ants. She was that large. And if she's that large at just 10%, imagine 100%. She'd literally just crush everything with her size. This one is gonna shock you guys by surprise, but Katsuyu shares an unbreakable telepathic link to the Byakugo seal. So no matter the distance, she can still communicate with the summoner who summoned her, regardless of how far she is. She could be in a whole other dimension, a whole other universe, thanks to that seal, which is why it takes so long for the seal to appear on your forehead, because constant delicate chakra control into one specific spot on your body, usually the forehead, takes a lot of time for it to manifest. So that seal is basically just a perfect concentrated link between Katsuyu and the summoner, which can't be broken. Like they can always keep communication with each other, regardless of the distance. And Katsuyu herself is linked to the seal independently and as a whole. So when she splits up into her mini forms, she's still linked to the seal, despite being a whole separate Katsuyu, even though she can still function as a whole, even while she's split up, if that makes sense. Oh, and just to add, this communication that they share, this telepathic link that they share, it's instantaneous. So there's no lag, there's no nothing to it. They don't need to, it's not like the Yamanaka's mind transfer or transmission jutsu. There's absolutely no lag to it. Like it's instantaneous, and it doesn't have a range limit like theirs. So Katsuyu could be halfway across the earth, and she can still chat with Tsunade or Sakura through the seal. I'm not even sure which fact I'm on right now, but yeah, so as you guys know, Katsuyu can split apart into thousands, millions of different clones of herself that can function independently and as a whole simultaneously. Now, what I mean is that Katsuyu basically has a hive mind, but she can still separate herself from the hive mind, right? But still links herself to the hive mind, but still acts as a whole independent slug herself, while still being able to communicate with the other slugs in that hive mind. I hope I didn't lose anyone, if that makes sense. Now, all the Katsuyu clones, they have shared vision, instantaneous communication regardless of the distance. They can always regroup if needed. She can always communicate with another Katsuyu clone that was summoned by another user. And this is great because this just cements how versatile Katsuyu is. So remember back in the war arc when Tsunade was cut in half and the other four Kages were in not as bad of a condition as Tsunade was. She summoned Katsuyu to start the healing process, but Sakura also summoned Katsuyu to heal the Alliance, right? Now, after Tsunade finished healing, thanks to Orochimaru's help with Karin and Sugetsu, Katsuyu said she could report on the battle situation, and Tsunade asked how she ended up on the front, which Tsunade figured Sakura summoned Katsuyu. And Tsunade's Katsuyu could communicate with Sakura's Katsuyu instantaneously to see what was going on the battlefield and report it back to Tsunade's Katsuyu. I hope I'm not losing anyone because that's literally what happened. So she basically tapped into Sakura's Katsuyu and then relayed the information back to Tsunade. And even after, just to show you that it doesn't seem like Katsuyu has a time limit for her summon, I don't know if she just stays around depending on how much chakra is in the Byakugo seal or what, but it seems it's a perfect symbiotic relationship that she shares with the summoner, because Because they have such perfect chakra control, it seems her summon doesn't consume a lot of chakra compared to others, and I don't know if it's a delayed time limit for her summon, but she seems to stay out the longest, or it just she doesn't have a time limit because even after Tsunade um, healed the other Kage, she still kept a mini Katsuyu clone on her shoulder while heading back to the battlefield. And she was still that mini Katsuyu clone was still in communication with Sakura's Katsuyu clone, notifying the Kage of what's going on. So yeah, so Katsuyu just freaking busted. All right, this one. Most people think Katsuyu can't fight or she doesn't have an attack for some strange reason, even though she's so large, she can literally crush people, she can suffocate them, whatever. But she does have an acidic attack, which it's, in my opinion, based on what it was shown, it seems to be the most effective attack in regards to burning slash fire damage because it's acidic. So it just burns through. It burned through solid stone. It vaporized solid stone rather instantly. As soon as it hit the rock that Manda dodged, the stone just instantly vaporized into just dust. Like that's how powerful her acid is. Now we have seen Amaterasu and other different fire styles against rock, and they don't do anything. It just burns, but it doesn't burn the rock. If you get what I mean, nothing happens to the rock. We've seen multiple different fire style jutsus. For example, back in the Sanin fight, back in part 1, Jiraiya used a combination attack with Gamabunta, right? With the Toad Flame, or well, something, I don't remember, Toad Flame Bomb, I think that's what it's called. And when you really looked, it didn't do anything to the surrounding. The grass was fine, the ground was fine. Manda just shedded his skin and he just escaped the attack. But had Katsuyu's acid hit Manda, he could not have shedded his skin because it would have just melted him instantly, the part where it hits. And her acid has a wide AoE, so it will hit a lot of Manda, like a lot of different parts of him, so not just the one that she spewed that he dodged that was directly aimed for his head, so Katsuyu was just going for the one-shot kill. Katsuyu was going for the one-shot kill right out of the bat. Yeah, Katsuyu's just busted. Like, she pairs well with anyone that you really link her to, but you just need the Byakugo seal to summon her. That's the only requirement. That's the direct requirement for her. If you can't get the seal, you just can't get Katsuyu. She's the most broken and OP summon in the verse. Like, no. You just can't get her if you don't have the seal. Oh, just to add as well, just to testify how potent her acid is, Orochimaru said it would one-shot him. And we have seen Orochimaru survive a lot of different shit. When he was fighting Four Tails Naruto, Naruto's chakra, the corrosive chakra burned his snake and also the body that he was in. And he was able to, I guess, do oral rebirth and form a new body. But with Katsuyu's acid, it seems he couldn't do that because of how much acid he'd be doused in and how quickly the acid evaporates or vaporizes or whatever it hits rather. So it seems he just couldn't do that. And why Manda was able to dodge Katsuyu's attack as well. So the Sanin have been a team for many years. The summons have been summoned by the Sanin many times, so they know each other's abilities, not all of their abilities. So Manda was on guard, and he knows what Katsuyu is capable of. So that's why he was able to dodge. And also due to their size, he was able to get out of the way quicker than, say, a normal person would because of the size difference. So he was able to cover more ground to move out of the way of the acid, as opposed to someone who's much smaller than him. Another fact, I don't know which fact number I'm at right now, but another fact about Katsuyu is that she is an excellent sensor. She can sense the smallest, the most minute changes in chakra once she's on the battlefield. I'm guessing she uses her antennas. She taps into the sage energy, and yeah. So she's able to sense chakra in the most minute form. She's able to pick up on basically anything that sage jutsu allows her to do, natural energy. So she was able to pick up on Naruto's control over the Kyuubi chakra when they first saw his Kyuubi mode, and then she was able to pick up that Naruto's Kurama chakra that he shared back in the war arc. It didn't die out, but it was still there, but it was just very weak. So she was able to pick up that when she healed the alliance. It's just that Naruto was really low on or Kurama rather was really low on chakra, but the chakra was still there. So she was able to pick up that. She's a very versatile summon. Very versatile. And also the fact that she has shared vision. So you're not sneaking up on Katsuyu at all. No. I should really start numbering these facts. But another fact about Katsuyu is that she can be summoned at any size that the user wants. So, for example, we have seen Katsuyu being summoned into many different sizes. You have pocket size, you have human size, you have, I guess, I don't know what the other size is, but let's just say Gamabunta when he was still, not Gamabunta, Gamakichi when he was still growing up. She can go to that size. She can basically go to whatever size she wants. She's just that big. And she can just split up into whichever size she wants. She has the bigger size, but not as big as Boss Summon size, that she can split up into. Back in the War arc when Tsunade was healing the other Kage, we saw a bunch of different sized Katsuyu. We saw a gigantic Katsuyu, we saw mini Katsuyus, and then we saw some bigger Katsuyus than full body human size. So she can basically be summoned any size she wants. So you have pocket size, small, you have extra small, extra small, extra small, small, medium, large, extra large, and so forth. So yeah, she's basically the size queen. Whatever size you want, she can make that size for you. Oh, just to add to that as well, for example, if you summon a mini Katsuyu and you want a larger Katsuyu, you can just resummon a larger Katsuyu by just adding more chakra to her, and poof, Katsuyu just gets bigger. Poof. So yeah, so if you need a mini Katsuyu, it just depends on what size you want really. So yeah, Katsuyu is so broken, like, oh my gosh. He already saw this in the anime and the manga, but Katsuyu has the ability to liquefy herself into bodily fluids, which in turn, she can become a widespread healing area where people can simply stand in her and they get replenished or healed. So the summoner can replenish their allies' chakra and also heal them. So we have seen this in the war arc when Tsunade and Sakura summoned her and they made Katsuyu liquefy herself, and the alliance could just recover their chakra and also be healed by just simply standing on Katsuyu. I also did make a video as well based on how I thought Tsunade countered Chiyo's poisons on the battlefield, and I think it was Tsunade using this same liquefaction move that Katsuyu has. So I'm guessing, just a hypothesis. So Katsuyu's body can be used as a catalyst to speed up reactions to antidotes when making antidotes for poison that Chiyo made. So I'm guessing Tsunade used her body as a catalyst to speed up the reaction for antidotes, and I'm guessing because Katsuyu is from the Shikotsu woods, she does eat a lot of plants, herbs, and so on, so she already has a pretty resistant immune system to like poisons, venoms, and so on. So I'm guessing Tsunade just used her as a catalyst to basically speed up the reaction to make an antidote almost immediately whenever Chiyo poisons one of her allies or poisons someone that they need to find an antidote for. So I'm kind of off that hypothesis that's what she did. Yeah. And after she made the antidote, of course, I'm guessing Katsuyu formed back into a whole, or formed back into the giant slug, and then split up into many Katsuyu clones, and then went around and then administered the antidote to her allies by nibbling on them. I don't know, or she just still stayed liquefied, and then Tsunade sent out a bunch of mini slugs to let her allies know that they need to come to this spot to get the antidote. So many different ways she could do it. Katsuyu's just that versatile. Another fun fact about Katsuyu, she's able to liquefy herself, right? So that means she can take the shape of anything she wants. So she can be molded into anything. For example, a chair, a bat, a really comfy bed to sleep on. Like, she's already so soft and cute as she already is. So just imagine what kind of materials or things you could mold her into, because she's basically a liquid now, so she can fill the shape of any container and just become the container. But she's so durable, so she'd be the best kind of material to use because she doesn't wear out. She's just that durable. So she could basically become whatever you like. You could make a house out of Katsuyu. Another big fact about Katsuyu, she's able to absorb persons or things directly into her body. Kind of like how a white blood cell attacks germs or bacteria. So she can protect them from damage. She can use it to suffocate foes, to trap foes inside her body, to restrict movement. She can basically become a cage for them. Because she can liquefy herself, she can basically encase the person. I'm not sure if you guys are following, but because she can liquefy herself, she can basically just form a mold around the person and just encase them because she can liquefy. So she just basically goes around the person and forms a cage made out of their body shape, if that makes sense, and just restrict their movement. And she could also do the same for her summoner, so she could basically give them like an armor. So they'd have Katsuyu's unique traits. So immune to physical attacks. So no physical attack is going to hurt her. No, no stabs, no anything like that. And because I don't want to call it flesh, but let's just say flesh. Her flesh is so thick and like soft and durable, so she's just gonna just tank basically anything and just, yeah. Listen, Katsuyu is so broken. I don't know how you guys haven't seen it. She's so broken. Like, you can pair her with anyone in the Narutoverse, and I guarantee you, she's just going to add to the table. She is so broken. So we all know that the Byakugo user and Katsuyu shares an unbreakable bond, right? A telepathic bond through the Byakugo seal. Now they're able to share or channel their chakra through Katsuyu to others. So they can share their chakra, they can share medical ninjutsu. It's safe to say we also have offensive medical ninjutsu that she can share through. They can channel through Katsuyu as well. So if it's a foe, they can use it to hurt the foe or anything. And just a hypothesis as well, seeing that they can transfer chakra-based attacks such as chakra, medical ninjutsu, offensive medical ninjutsu, it's safe to say that they can also transfer chakra enhanced strikes through Katsuyu, and because Katsuyu is so soft and durable, she's basically immune to any kind of physical damage, so Katsuyu won't be hurt from the attack. So she'd just be like, what's that word I'm looking for? So she'd just be like an output device for them to send their attacks through without actually being close to the person, if that makes sense. You know, seeing that the users are able to, the summoners are able to send chakra through Katsuyu, send medical ninjutsu through Katsuyu. So it's safe to say, because chakra enhanced strength is an adaptation of medical ninjutsu. So it's safe to say that they can do that as well. So I'm not throwing that under the bus. I'm gonna stick with it and see they can. So back to Mito Uzumaki. So currently there are only 2 users in the Narutoverse right now who are able to summon Katsuyu, which is Tsunade and Sakura, right? Tsunade's grandmother, Mito Uzumaki, she seemed to have a Byakugo seal /100 healing mark, as she had a mark similar to Tsunade and Sakura right on her forehead. It's safe to assume that she could also summon Katsuyu as well, and it's also possible that she had the most chakra in the Narutoverse outside of like Otsutsuki's, even more than Hashirama himself, because she was a full-blooded Uzumaki. She had full Kurama inside of her, plus she had a Byakugo seal /100 healing mark. So just imagine how much chakra she had, right? Just imagine. And it's also safe to assume that she had the Byakugo seal because she is from the Uzumaki clan, and they were infamously feared for their sealing techniques. And the Byakugo seal is, in base form, a technique or a jutsu that seals away chakra for future use. So it's safe to assume that she had the 100 healing mark /Byakugo seal. But Tsunade later developed medical ninjutsu into it. So yeah. Another little trivia fact about Katsuyu. So Katsuyu basically is, so the legendary summons, right? They're basically supposed to depict rock, paper, scissors, right? So basically slug, snake, toad /frog. But Katsuyu cheats the system because she can basically be all of them at once. So she doesn't really have a disadvantage against any of she doesn't have a disadvantage against the slugs or the toads, because she is just, she's above the rock paper scissors system. Katsuyu is so broken. Oh my gosh, like when you really think about it. Okay, let's say Katsuyu, let's say she's scissors. Right, let's say she's scissors. So you know scissors is supposed to lose to rock, but she doesn't. She doesn't. And paper is supposed to lose to scissors, and then rock is supposed to lose to paper. But when you look at Katsuyu, she kind of just interchanges with all of those. Like, she just doesn't lose. She's basically like a combination of all 3. Right? So, oh my god, Katsuyu is so fucking broken. Like, when you really look into it, she's just broken. Like, her versatility is unmatched. Another fact about Katsuyu, so despite being a slug, Katsuyu is actually quite fast. Shocking. I know, right? But when Tsunade summoned her back in the Pinarch, she was able to scale the entire Leaf Village within mere seconds. Like, she was just blitzing the village. Like, going to attend to ninjas and civilians alike based on her summoner's request, her summoner's direct order. She scaled the freaking village. Also, she was able to react last second and save villagers from Shinra Tensei, and also from any. She also saved a lot of persons from other summons. The pain that does the summoning. They summon large animals. Katsuyu was able to protect them last minute by, again, absorbing persons into her body and basically becoming like a shield. Katsuyu's so broken, like, she's so fucking broken. Oh my gosh. Another fact about Katsuyu as well. Well, this is more of like a personality trait. So we all know Katsuyu is very respectful. She's subservient, loyal, obedient, friendly. She's very serious, understanding, and she also has a very playful side. As she made her like debuts whenever she was summoned. I'm not sure, but back in part one Naruto, there was this filler episode when these two imitators were trying to be Might Guy and Rock Lee, and Tsunade summoned Katsuyu. It was such a funny and cute episode. Tsunade, I think it was episode 161. I think, I'm not sure. It was either 161 or 171. I'd have to double check, but don't quote me on it. Don't quote me on it though. So basically, Tsunade summoned Katsuyu and had Katsuyu pretend that she was quote unquote sick. And because they were pretending to be Guy and Rock Lee, Tsunade ordered them to take care of Katsuyu to help her to get better. It was such a funny and cute episode. Again, it showed how massive Katsuyu was. She was pretending to be sick, and she was sneezing, and her sneeze caused earthquakes, and everyone except Tsunade was basically moving because Tsunade is very sturdy, so she's not gonna move from that. It was such a funny and cute episode. And then she was spewing acid at them. She said she couldn't hold the sneezing anymore, and it was so funny. And she spewed acid at them, but she missed on purpose. And then Katsuyu was just out here vaporizing forests, trees, everything that her acid touched just got vaporized. And she was spewing an unlimited amount of acid, just spitting it out. And then afterwards, she said she's coming out with a fever, and then she just. At first, it looked like she was liquefying, but then she split up into mini slugs, and then fell from that great height, and then fell onto the Guy and Rock Lee imitators. It was so funny. Like, I really recommend that you guys go and watch the episode. It's really funny. Another fact about Katsuyu as well. You guys have heard me saying another fact for so many times now. So she's able to break her summoner or her allies outside of Genjutsu due to the perfect connection between herself and the Byakugo seal, right? And this connection cannot be broken. So Katsuyu is resistant to Genjutsu as slugs actually don't have eyes, so they can't see like we do, nor do they have ears. So she is not only resistant to visual Genjutsu, but also audio Genjutsu. So like frog song, I think that's what it's called, frog song, yeah. So sage art frog song wouldn't work in Katsuyu because she doesn't really have ears. So she can't really hear like we do. But it's cartoon, it's fan fiction, so she can technically hear because we can communicate with Katsuyu. The summoner Tsunade and Sakura can communicate with Katsuyu, and she hears them and speaks back to them. So yeah, but slugs don't actually have eyes or ears. They can't see or hear like we do. Likewise as well, Katsuyu can break herself out of Genjutsu. So if, one second, I had to sneeze real quick. So Katsuyu can break herself out of Genjutsu. So like if a mini Katsuyu clone is somehow caught in a Genjutsu, I don't know how she would even get caught in a Genjutsu. The other Katsuyu clones can just break her out of it instantly. So yeah. Once again, Katsuyu is proven to be extremely broken. Extremely broken. So Katsuyu can be used, you see, because of how versatile Katsuyu is, she can be used as like eye shields, and she can be used as earmuffs to further to help her summoners resist against Genjutsu, visual Genjutsu and audio Genjutsu. So Katsuyu is just broken. Like, she is just fucking broken. Another surprising fact about Katsuyu, we actually haven't seen her take damage. She seems to only be killable, or it seems she can only die from chakra drain or chakra exhaustion. We've never seen her get hurt or just die to anything else. I'd argue even particle style wouldn't be able to kill Katsuyu, because if she can split up herself and seeing that she can also liquefy, I'm pretty sure she can, and the fact that she can survive being cut at the speed of light, which should atomize her in the same sense, she's gonna be fine. And then seeing that she can also liquefy herself, she can just form whatever shape around basically the particle style, because the particle style has a shape that it forms before it atomizes anything. So for example, if Anoki forms a circle or a cylindrical sphere and shoots it at her, she can just form a hole and it just goes right through the hole and doesn't hit her. You get what I mean? Or if he forms a square, she just forms a bigger square of her body, so it just goes through the hole that she formed the square for. You get what I mean? Like, yeah, Katsuyu's just broken. Alright, we're getting down to the final parts now. So Katsuyu is able to cause earthquakes. I did speak on this briefly about the Naruto filler episode. So due to her large size, just by simply sneezing or just moving around, she can cause earthquakes just due to her large size. So with this large size means she has great weight. So she can crush people. She can have her human-sized clones fall from her max height, which is like 2 to 3 times larger than the average human. And because of how far it's fallen from, it can just crush people and just unalive them like instantly. She can just squash them like little bugs they are. Okay, another fact about Katsuyu. So I've noticed that her body seems to function as like a selectively permeable membrane. Now what that is, it lets her basically block out whatever she doesn't want to come into her body and what she wants to come into her body. So for example, remember I was saying Katsuyu can suffocate foes, right? She can trap them in their body and suffocate them. Think back to the pain arc when she absorbed Sakura into her body, right? Sakura could not breathe while she was inside of Katsuyu until she let her out. So she can definitely suffocate people, right? But she can also allow air to pass through into her, because back in the war arc when Tsunade summoned her to heal Akagi, they were all inside some giant Katsuyu clones that were basically functioning as intensive care units in a sense, and they were inside of her, like inside of Katsuyu, and she was healing them but at the same time she was still allowing oxygen to pass through into her so that they could still have their air supply. I think the Sakura case was that it was more on a defensive measure. She was trying to protect her from the rush, and I guess Sakura panicked because she didn't expect to see this what happened. Yeah, so like I said, Katsuyu is able to, she can cut off whatever she wants to come into her body, or she can cut it off or on. She can basically decide whether she wants something to come into her body or not, basically. Yeah, that's it. Alright, and I think this is the final fact I have about Katsuyu. Now, I don't want to go too much into this one because I am going to make another video. So the other fact is Katsuyu is actually the slug sage mode for Tsunade and Sakura. I'm not going to touch into that. I'm going to make a whole different video on that one, so I'm not going to even go into it. So she basically functions as the medium for which their sage mode comes through. That's all I'm going to say, because the other video I'm going to go deep and dive well into it. So yeah. But the other fact that I was going to say is that Katsuyu is actually able to cooperate with other sages. So think back to the pain arc with Naruto. She was able to help Naruto without interfering with his sage chakra. So she was able to pair with other sage users without actually disturbing their flow of sage energy, so she can link up with them. That's all I'm gonna say. The video that I'm gonna make about slug sage mode is going to explain all of this, so definitely stay tuned for that one. And I think we covered 24 facts about Katsuyu. I'm kind of tired. I'm not sure if you guys can hear it in my voice, but I'll probably do a re-recording of this, or I'll just post it as it is, because yeah, Katsuyu is just a beast. Katsuyu is so versatile. Like, it doesn't matter what anime you put her in, she is going to add something to the table. She is just that good. Yeah, and I didn't expect this video to be this long, so thank you guys for sticking around and watching to the very end. But the next, I have 2 more videos that I have working on, which is about the Byakuga seal and also about slug sage mode, so definitely stay tuned for those. It's gonna be really interesting. So thanks again for watching the video, and I'm out.